I really love this documentary. It was very, very, very visual. So I want you guys to introduce who you are and what your roles were in this incredible documentary.
I'm Jannik, and I was producing, writing, editing. We all kind of did the same thing here, the non-actors.
I did the other thing.
Things were done. Yeah.
I'm Mike. Sorry, I'm Mike Largent.
I'm Dakota Kappen. As Jannik said, kind of did everything.
Hayden, Garratt, and helped these two do everything.
So in crafting this particular film, there's what challenges, what emotional challenges inspired the crafting of this film?
What emotional challenges?
Emotional challenges that help to shape the film's core.
Oh, okay. Well, I think at the core of it, kind of what drew us to it is this like idea of incremental change and having an appreciation for that, which I think anybody in the art world kind of can relate to, and that's kind of what drew us to the story. I think the emotional a push and pull of like this performance part of it, being an actor and having to kind of go in this paradoxical way, like John says in the documentary, where you have to expect no success. I think that's really a really compelling and interesting kind of juxtaposition.
And so in this film, who came up with this idea? Like someone had to say, hey, look, we're gonna film an actor who's also this because I would say this is extreme, right?
Thanks.
Would you say it's an extreme challenge? How did you even come up with this idea? To film it?
Mike came up to us, like we were trying to find, we've been doing climbing film, trying to find the right guy, and Dakota and Jannik were doing the crack climbing, what you saw Mike doing, and Mike came over to them and we were like, oh, I see that you're doing a little crack climbing.
It is rare in a climbing gym for people to be climbing the cracks. So I get so excited that I have to run over and talk crack with them.
He loves crack.
And explain to us novices, because I was familiar with just the regular rock climbing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I still think is extreme, and I could never do it. But you do something that's even scarier in my head than that.
Mine too.
So explain to us what that is and what the goal is, because the way you were putting your foot in those cracks, and then I know my ankle would have just snapped right away, right? Yeah. So you gotta have extra like that. Those are muscles that the majority of us here don't have in our legs. So what is that?
It's a real niche of climbing called off-width climbing, and it's a niche of crack climbing, which is a niche of rock climbing. So it just is like I'm probably a hipster at my core, so I had to find the niche of the niche of the thing. And yeah, there are weird muscles that you don't really develop. That it's a shin muscle is a big thing, and the other big limiting factor is pain. So that's why you see the shots of that wooden trainer. I developed some muscle and I deadened some nerves to make it a little more casual.
The whole project is a little bit like inside baseball, I suppose. We didn't like spend a long time explaining like what this means if you don't know much about climbing. So the goal was to get to the top of that crack on top of the overhang, which is something we probably should have made a little bit more clear, but to rock climbers, that's pretty clear.
Yeah, that's a good point to start from the very basics.
Yeah,
I did not successfully climb it, in case that wasn't clear.
But
Made progress.
You made progress, and that was clear. That was clear, and what was also clear to me was the challenge. The challenge and how you related that even to the entertainment industry, to acting, and going into an improv. All of that was very, very, very clear. So talk about that for a minute in terms of the juxtaposition of the extreme crack and the pursuit of that and the pursuit of acting.
In both of their purest forms, I think that they both are very addictive. Like in a flow states are just very inherently addictive. You know, skill level meets challenge, and you just ride that, and you know, it's almost, well, it's worth doing a lot. It's worth putting up with a lot of bullshit and like going through a lot of pain and training for both acting or climbing. I mean, the parallels are pretty infinite. But
What about the self-doubt? Is there any of that?
oh my God, all over the place.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, you know, like, I see it all over the screen while I'm watching myself. I'm like, oh, you're shitting on yourself there, you know,
Yeah.
there again. But then, you know, in acting too, like, if that starts happening, especially in a scene, there goes the scene.
Mhm.
And same with climbing. As
Is
far
there
as
any way to salvage that? Like in climbing, I like in the one scene you're like, I hurt my foot, you know, and that I'm like cringing, like, oh my God, and you're hanging upside down at the same time, and you're like, and then the guy says, oh well, if you fall, you might just break a leg, and I'm like, you're hanging upside down over.
Yeah, so you have like a lizard brain, right, that doesn't have the bandwidth for all this, like, I'm gonna land in this way, at this angle, at this moment. It's like death. Death is happening if this doesn't happen. And so all of the bandwidth just gets constricted to there, and your
Right.
heart goes 1,000 miles an hour, you get tunnel vision, and your hand starts to slip, your ankle hurts, it's like, it just careens very quickly.
Yeah.
And like I say in the film, the end message that wins out is, you don't got this.
Mm.
It's different from a scene. I shudder to think, like, of being on stage, for example. Because in film, like, you can get another take.
Yeah.
But being on stage, like, I can only imagine spiraling that way. That would be fucking, like, it wells up the same fear as,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's your fear?
Any of you guys go up there with him?
They were up there.
So you
Yeah.
guys are up there too.
There's a shot, you can see me on the, like, it's a silhouette so you can't really tell, but yeah, one of us was above the crack, and then
And I
Dakota
was like down below.
yeah.
Ooh-wee. So there was a use of a drone in this.
Not for the climbing parts, but for the establishing shots. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, this was this was an adrenaline rush, and I'm so glad because like I said, I had never even heard of crack climbing before, and what the ultimate goal was, and so I appreciate you bringing your work here to filming days in LA, and you know, letting us know about this important mind. You know, because this was just as much a challenge of the mind, the heart, and the spirit as it was just going up there. Wait, let me ask you this. How much does something like this cost in order to maintain this type of rock climbing? Is it like an expensive sport?
No, it's expensive to start. Those cams that catch me from dying, those are not cheap. But you don't want to buy the budget version, you know.
Right. And so let me ask you about those too, because those things that you putting in between the cracks, right?
Yeah.
So are you wedging them in there yourself, or like are you like what? Because you have to wedge them, then you have to hang on to them,
Yeah.
and hope that they hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so are you doing that prior? How is that? How does that work?
It's, you know, to relate it back to acting, you rehearse. So you have to train your lizard brain, the part of you that's evolved forever to say, this is a bad plan. You need to not be doing this. You need to quiet that by intentionally taking falls on those. So you fall, you're like, oh, I'm okay.
Mhm.
And then they can inspire some confidence. So you plug one, you climb past it thinking, I'm okay, that's there. Shh. You know, calm down back there.
Yeah, yeah.
But to answer your question, yeah, you shove them in yourself, you clip the rope to it. The harder you pull on them, the harder they push out, and so they don't come out.
So how do you get them out when you're done at the?
There's a little trigger mechanism.
Oh, gotcha.
Releases it.
Gotcha.
Just a fun little part that we did cut out was that John Long, the older guy that climbed it for the first time in the 70s, those devices were not around at that time. So
Oh, wow.
So he was literally just using wood. Like he would
Oh,
bring a
God.
piece of wood and he would just hammer it in there. And then, you know, it was kind of an interesting moment, Mike having a lot of like, oh, this guy's like this, famously making this route seem really easy. He climbed it for the pretty much first try. And when we talked to him in that interview with Mike, John was like, yeah, I only climbed it the first time because it was just wood and I probably would have died. So like, there was this like element to it that we don't even have to deal with these days, which was
Wow.
kind of an interesting revelation.
Wow.
Like, you just had to climb it.
Was there any difficult shoot? Was there anything that was difficult in shooting this film?
I would say.
Or scary moments?
I mean, since it's like kind of very no budget, we used all three of our cameras and they're all different branded cameras, so the color spectrum was just off the charts. So definitely the color grading took the longest part of just trying to match everything together to make it all flow nicely.
Yeah, yeah.
So same brand camera next time.
But no, everything else kind of, there was no scary moments.
Oh, you're talking about scary moments. Yeah.
No,
That was
you're
scary.
that was,
Hey,
That was scary to me. Yeah.
that is, hey, that's important. That is important.
I was freaked out.
I think we were kind of in a time rush to get the earliest light, and we
Yeah.
all had to climb a full-length route to get there, and everything went fine, but there was a little concern with the gear and everything and us rushing. That's where accidents happen, so that was a little scary going in,
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
They're experienced climbers too, so
Yeah.
they had
Oh,
that
that
going
helps.
for them, yeah.
Yeah.
But not everyone was, so.
Right.
Well,
that came with us.
I just, again, I want to thank you guys for bringing this material to Film LA, Film Invasion LA. It's something that even as I'm an actor too, and so as watching this, you know, and being able to get another perspective of somebody else who's an actor and what you do in terms of and how that fills you was very important. And so thank you, because I thoroughly enjoyed this. I enjoyed this entire block. This is amazing. And so, hopefully, anything you're working on, you're gonna.
Yeah, we have, I think personally the like addiction element of climbing is really interesting and kind of
Oh, yeah.
unexplored, like
Yeah,
how it's like
yeah.
this adrenaline addiction.
Yeah.
So with Mike, we're hoping to do we're fundraising for like a full feature length version, similar to this, but he does like 5 different climbs all over the US.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, I'm sure we'll all look forward to seeing that when you.
It's coming.
It's coming. That's right. Thank you so much.